Somewhere in a quiet, wealthy part of a major city sits a showroom unlike any other car dealership. No loud banners, no clearance sale signs, no crowded lot outside. Just marble floors, soft lighting, and complete silence. This is what a Rolls-Royce dealership looks like from the outside. Most people assume it's basically a money-printing machine. They imagine six-figure cars flying out the door every single week. They imagine owners getting rich just by holding the keys to the franchise. The truth is far stranger and far more fragile than that. A Rolls-Royce dealership doesn't run like a normal car business at all. It runs on scarcity instead of volume. It runs on relationships instead of walk-in traffic. It runs on customization instead of sticker price. And almost nobody outside the industry understands how the money truly moves. So let's open the books on one of the strangest retail models in the auto world. To understand why people chase this business, you first have to understand the fantasy. Owning a Rolls-Royce dealership sounds like the ultimate luxury trophy asset. Every car sold looks like a payday worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's no haggling culture like at a typical mainstream car lot. There's no crowd of tire kickers wasting a salesperson's entire afternoon. Just a small circle of serious buyers with serious money behind them. For investors already inside the luxury auto world, this feels like the final prize. It's often the last brand added to a portfolio of Bentley, Ferrari, or Lamborghini stores. Prestige comes bundled with direct access to the ultra-wealthy elite. Owning the badge alone signals you've truly made it in this industry. Some buyers of the franchise are drawn purely by the brand's global mystique. Rolls-Royce carries more symbolic weight than almost any other car company alive. That mystique alone can attract investors who barely care about spreadsheets. But that fantasy only covers the glossy surface of the business. Getting approved for this brand is nothing like buying a franchise online, and running it profitably is even harder than getting approved in the first place. Rolls-Royce does not hand out dealership rights to just anyone with capital. There's no simple application form you fill out over a weekend. The brand hand-selects its dealer partners, almost like inviting members into a private club. In most cases, you already need to operate other luxury brands successfully. Think Bentley, Aston Martin, Lamborghini, or Ferrari already sitting in your portfolio. Rolls-Royce wants proof you can handle billionaires and royalty long before approval. They study your existing client list closely before considering your application at all. Net worth and liquid capital requirements alone can eliminate most casual applicants immediately. Many territories expect tens of millions of dollars in available capital reserves. Once approved, the real spending finally begins in earnest. A dedicated Rolls-Royce showroom must follow extremely strict design standards set by the factory. Think imported marble, specific lighting fixtures, and architectural codes down to the inch. Building or renovating one showroom to these standards can cost several $1 million. In major cities, land and construction alone can push past $10 million. Then comes the part most people never think about, the inventory itself. A single Rolls-Royce can start around $300,000. Fully bespoke commissions can climb past $1 million per vehicle. Dealers almost never pay cash up front for this kind of inventory. Instead, they rely on floor plan financing, a form of short-term borrowing. Banks lend the dealership money specifically to stock cars on the property. At loan accrues interest every single day the car remains unsold. Interest rates on this kind of financing often move with broader lending rates. Carry a dozen unsold units, and that daily interest becomes brutal fast. Add in demo cars, pipeline orders, and spare parts inventory on top. Total capital tied up can quietly climb into the tens of millions. And that's before a single walk-in customer even enters the building. Oh, how does the money actually come back into the business? The obvious answer is new car sales, but it's more layered than people think. Rolls-Royce actually runs on relatively thin new car margins, oddly enough for this brand. Dealer margin and manufacturer holdback usually sit in a modest single-digit percentage range. On a $500,000 car, even a small percentage is still a large number. But percentage-wise, it's smaller than most outsiders assume for a brand this exclusive. The real profit engine isn't the base vehicle at all. It's the options list sitting quietly on top of it. Rolls-Royce buyers rarely order a standard, off-the-shelf configuration. They order bespoke paint colors mixed specifically for their exact car. They order custom embroidery, personalized starlight headliners, and unique interior finishes. Every added feature carries a far higher margin than the base car itself. A single custom commission can quietly add tens of thousands in pure profit. This is where Rolls-Royce dealerships separate themselves from ordinary luxury car lots. The car itself is essentially the entry ticket. Customization is where the real business quietly happens. Limited edition models add another interesting layer to this picture. Certain special editions can resell for more than their original sticker price. That collector demand occasionally turns a dealer's demo unit into a bidding opportunity. Next comes financing arrangements for buyers who choose not to pay cash. Even wealthy clients sometimes finance, purely for tax or liquidity reasons, arranging that financing earns the dealer a quiet referral commission on the side. Extended warranties and prepaid maintenance plans add another thin but steady revenue layer. Then, there's the trade-in game running quietly in the background. Wealthy clients frequently trade in other luxury vehicles when buying new. Dealers can profit twice, once on the new sale, once on reselling that trade-in. Some trade-ins even appreciate in value before they're resold to the right collector. And finally, there's the department almost nobody outside the trade ever talks about. The service bay quietly running in the back of the building. For a Rolls-Royce dealership, service isn't a side hustle at all. It's actually one of the most stable profit centers in the entire operation. These cars demand specialized maintenance no independent garage can easily replicate. Genuine parts, specialized diagnostic tools, and factory-trained technicians all come at premium prices. Clients rarely question a large invoice on a car worth this much money. A single service visit can quietly run into the thousands of dollars. Multiply that across a small but loyal client base, and it adds up fast. Unlike new sales, service revenue doesn't swing as violently with economic mood. A Rolls-Royce owner keeps servicing the car whether markets are booming or falling. That steady service income becomes the quiet backbone of dealership cash flow. Many dealers privately admit service revenue is what actually keeps the lights on. New car sales bring the headlines, but service brings the stability. Parts markup on genuine components also runs noticeably higher than mainstream brands. Even something as small as a replacement badge can carry a surprising margin. Now picture how this money actually flows month to month inside the business. A new commission closes, and the floor plan loan on that specific unit gets repaid. Options and customization margin then drops straight into gross profit. A portion of that profit immediately goes toward brand-mandated marketing spend. Rolls-Royce enforces strict marketing and brand image guidelines on every single dealer. Every event, every advertisement, every showroom display must match approved brand standards. That marketing spend isn't optional. It's written directly into the franchise agreement. Staff salaries come next, and this staff is far from cheap to hire. You need multilingual sales consultants who feel comfortable around billionaires and royal families. You need technicians specifically trained on Rolls-Royce mechanical and electrical systems. You need a dedicated bespoke design consultant to guide every custom order. All of that specialized talent demands premium, above-market compensation. Sending staff to factory training programs adds its own recurring cost too. Facility upkeep alone quietly drains a meaningful chunk of monthly profit. Marble floors and specialty lighting fixtures don't maintain themselves for free. Utilities on a showroom this size run far higher than a typical dealership. Insurance for this kind of inventory and property is also unusually expensive. All of these fixed costs run every single month, regardless of how many cars sell. Then there are costs most outsiders never even consider. Rolls-Royce periodically updates its global showroom design requirements. When that happens, dealers are expected to renovate again, entirely at their own cost. Skipping a mandated upgrade can quietly damage a dealer's standing with the brand. Inventory carrying cost is another silent, ongoing drain on cash. Every unsold car on the floor accrues floor plan interest daily. A slow-moving showroom can bleed 6 figures in interest before one sale even happens. Currency swings can also affect imported parts and vehicles significantly. A weak local currency can suddenly make inventory financing far more expensive. Specialized transport for delivering finished bespoke vehicles adds yet another cost layer. Shipping a single car internationally with proper care isn't cheap at all. Demo units also depreciate the moment they're driven off the delivery truck. That depreciation quietly eats into profit long before any resale happens. And every unhappy, ultra-wealthy client can cost more in reputation than in dollars. Word travels fast inside small, tightly connected wealth circles. One bad experience can quietly cost future referrals worth millions. Now let's talk about the risks nobody puts in the brochure. Allocation is fully controlled by the manufacturer, never by the dealer. Rolls-Royce decides exactly how many cars and which configurations each dealer receives. A dealer can have buyers waiting and still not receive enough units to sell. Losing favor with the brand can mean losing allocation almost overnight. Territory exclusivity can also be revoked if performance standards slip too far. Then there's the electric shift reshaping the entire luxury auto world. Rolls-Royce has begun moving toward electric models like the Spectre. That shift quietly changes the service side of the business over time. Electric vehicles typically need far less mechanical maintenance than combustion engines. Less mechanical work can eventually mean less of that steady service income. Economic downturns hit ultra-wealthy spending too, just with a noticeable delay. When markets crash, luxury car orders often slow down months later, not immediately. Dealership built around a handful of big-ticket sales feels that delay hard. There's also reputational risk tied directly to the brand's public image. One political controversy or luxury backlash moment can cool buyer enthusiasm quickly. Consolidation is another quiet risk reshaping this entire market. Large luxury dealer groups keep buying up smaller, independent Rolls-Royce franchises. That trend slowly squeezes out smaller, single-location owner-operators over time. Global supply chains for bespoke materials can also create unexpected delays. A delayed delivery can frustrate a client who waited over a year for their car. Tariffs on imported luxury vehicles can also quietly reshape profit margins overnight. Rolls-Royce also sits inside a much larger parent automotive group. Decisions made far above the dealer's head can shift strategy overnight. So why do some Rolls-Royce dealership operators still struggle badly? Some simply overbuild the physical showroom beyond what their local market can support. A stunning building means nothing if local demand can't fill the calendar. Some misjudge exactly how much capital floor plan financing truly demands. Carrying multi-million-dollar inventory silently drains cash flow the moment sales slow down. Some fail to build the deep service relationships that keep cash flow steady. Without loyal service clients, monthly income becomes dangerously unpredictable. Some overspend on brand compliance without matching it to local sales volume. Others simply operate in the wrong city for this kind of demand entirely. Rolls-Royce success depends heavily on regional concentration of extreme wealth. A city with 100 billionaires can support one dealership comfortably. The same investment in the wrong city can sit half empty for years. A few operators even lean on profits from other brands to quietly subsidize the Rolls-Royce store. That subsidy can hide a struggling location for years before the truth surfaces. Outcomes here vary enormously by country, by city, and by dealership size. They vary by whether the location sits in a wealth corridor or a quiet suburb. They vary by operator skill, client relationships, and manufacturer allocation received. Two dealers with nearly identical buildings can post wildly different results. The difference almost always comes down to relationships, not the showroom itself. Was owning a Rolls-Royce dealership actually a good business to be in? The honest answer is that it depends entirely on execution and location. Done right, in the right city with a strong service culture, it's remarkably resilient. Margins from customization and service can outlast rocky, slow sales years. Done wrong, it quietly becomes an expensive, marble-covered cash trap. This isn't a business anyone stumbles into by accident or luck. It rewards patient capital, deep relationships, and long-term thinking above everything else. It punishes anyone treating it like a normal car lot with a fancier badge. The real business here was never just selling cars. It's selling access, customization, and decades of trusted after-sales service. And quietly, behind the marble floors and silent showroom lighting, that's exactly how a Rolls-Royce